What's going on, sports card hobby family? Another day, another sports card video. We are in a different location down in Mexico here for a few days, back in Mexico with the family, little family trip. Today we are going to talk about Fanatics bailing out of Orlando show, and we've got a couple of channel updates. Stick around. All right, friends, before I dive in, huge thanks to today's video sponsor, COMC.com, your home for baseball, football, basketball, non-sports, all the goodness, 35 million plus cards in the COMC database, the easiest place on earth to buy and sell cards. Make sure to check out my links down below to start your COMC journey today. Also, if you have never subbed with PSA before, I got links down below, or you can just go on the site and on the shipping and billing page, SCD25 takes $25 off your first submission. One card minimum, 25 bucks off SCD25 at the shipping and billing page. All right, so I was a little surprised to see that the Fanatics card show was canceled here in Orlando coming up in the next, few weeks. Although we did talk about this on Off-Centered going back a few weeks, that they didn't have any promotion up on it. It was funny, we had talked about it on Off-Centered. I pulled up the Fanatics site and we were looking at their shows and I was like, there's no upcoming shows. And then literally like the day after, 2 days later, maybe they were watching, all of a sudden there was something on the website showing Orlando, some sort of promotion for Orlando. Now, I'm going to go back in time a little bit. About 15 years ago, when I was working on the sales side of things, I worked for a company that sold exhibit space, put on huge investment conferences. And we sold the exhibit space, the booths, the workshops, all of that stuff. Really fun job too, by the way, going back in time. But one thing I do know about setting up shows like this, conferences, is it's not easy. It takes time to book venues. You have to book them way in advance. That's why it's funny when people are like, oh man, how come they just don't change the venue quickly here, there, whatever. It's very difficult. To book big venues especially, if you're trying to get maybe a Holiday Inn, conference space, then maybe that's different. But when you're trying to book a large convention center, you have got to do it way out in advance. A lot of times you have to commit to multiple years in that particular venue. It's a lot of negotiation back and forth. And I remember they had announced these Fanatics events going back to March, April, May. I think it was May actually when they announced Fanatics Fest. And of course you had the Pittsburgh show that was going to be at the Pittsburgh Pirates Stadium, which was also canceled. And then this Orlando show, which was going to be more like a true card show, coming up right after that. And I was thinking to myself man, that is a lot to bite off. That's a lot to chew on. Not a lot of time to plan all of that out. So I'm not 100% surprised that they did cancel it, but I just am surprised that they did it kind of a few weeks out from the show. They did talk about it being related to hurricanes. I can tell you, I've lived in Orlando, Tampa, and Sarasota, really the three spots that got hit the hardest by these hurricanes. Living in Florida for a long time, those are not areas that usually do get hit hard. I mean, yes, hurricanes come through Tampa, Sarasota, Orlando, but usually they go up into the Panhandle. It's more Panama City, Pensacola area where they hit. Or it's, it's Miami, it's kind of like, South Florida. That's the reason why Ringling Brothers set up shop down there, the old circus going back decades. They set up shop in Sarasota. They ended up choosing that area because of all the circus stuff, circus tents and all that being blown away with the hurricanes down south. They found Sarasota to be kind of a pretty good spot to set up shop. So yes, those areas, they really don't usually get hit. I think the hurricane maybe was 10 to 15% of Fanatics canceling the show. I also just think that they just weren't prepared. I don't think that there was a lot of momentum going into that Orlando show. Maybe on the dealer side, from dealers buying in that, of course, look, if you're a dealer and if you're getting Fanatics products, you're signing up for the stuff. You're going to sign up for these shows. And so I think it wasn't really tricky to get dealers to commit to that Orlando show. But getting attendees there, that's a whole nother thing. And it would have been a complete disaster if they would have set up this show, had a bunch of dealers there that paid pretty decent money, and then nobody shows up for it. And does the hurricane have something to do with that? Sure, it does. But coming to Mexico, I flew through Orlando, and they're back up and running. I mean, it's all running fine from what I've seen. What I do think, though, is that they're going to get it right, doing it early 2025. And frankly, for the card market, historically, especially over the last few years, the first quarter of the year is much better for cards. And so if you're trying to set up kind of that first successful big card show, then earlier in the year, first quarter of 2025, is probably a lot better of an idea than coming up in November to round out the year when people are getting ready to travel, holidays, and a card show might not be top priority for people, as they head into the holiday season. So it makes sense all around. I think as far as the experience goes for both dealers and attendees, it was the right choice. How we got here, I feel like it was kind of bumbled along, and maybe it wasn't planned out as well as it could have been. But hey, they're new to events, Fanatics events. So these are kind of growing pains. What I do think is going to happen, though, is that I do think that they're going to get it right. Once they go through kind of a series of shows, figure out what works, what doesn't work, I do think they're going to have really, really good shows moving forward in the years to come. And these are just kind of growing pains that we're going to see. Okay, a couple of channel updates. I am going to be in Mexico here for a few days. My internet is a little bit splotchy. We are supposed to do Off-Center tonight. We might have to push it back a week. Neo's not going to make it because he's heading to New York Comic-Con. Ham is in Tampa still dealing with hurricane stuff. And then I'm here, with not great internet. So we might go live tonight for Off-Centered, or it might get pushed to next week, or we might do something of both. We might do one tonight and then also do one next week so that we can kind of get caught up with Neo and so forth. So definitely keep an eye out for that. So long story short, I should have videos coming out every day. I plan to, but you know how it goes. I mean, with internet up and down, you never know. Plus, hanging out with the family, so I'm not going to have as much time. The timing of the videos is probably going to be wonky depending on what we're doing. I know Thursday we're going to go see the Mayan ruins. I'm really excited for that as a family. So there's a lot of family stuff going on. So we'll get the videos in here and there, but it might be a little bit splotchy this week. My friends, I hope that you have an amazing day ahead. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and let me know what you think about this Fanatics Orlando event. Should they have shut it down? Or do you think it's better that they went ahead and just pushed it off to 2025? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Talk to you later.